ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ ප්‍රථම වරට SLT 4G වෙතින් දැන් PO TV නරඹන්න. ඉදිරියටම ගෙන යන SLT 4G.
ලෙන්ගතුකම වැඩි කරගන්න ලව්ජු රුපියල් 50ට අඩු කළා.
මාමේ එන්න අපිට
In your headlines tonight, success story. Another batch of foreign arrivals leave quarantine, placing the total at over 2,500. Ground reality. One more fresh COVID-19 case reported, with the final rites of the fourth victim performed. Timely assistance. World Bank approves $128.6 million COVID-19 combat project in Sri Lanka. Failed getaway. A vehicle which sped in the night without heeding police orders to stop comes under fire. All this and much more coming up tonight on First at 9, this Friday, the 3rd of April 2020.
හැටනමයයි අනුහත්තට SMS කර රුපියල් මිලියන 3ක මුල්තැන්ගේ උපකරණ දිනාගෙන අවුරුද්දෙම කුස්සිය ටයිම් සේව් කරගන්න.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
A warm welcome. I'm Indivariya Muatha. The funeral rites of Sri Lanka's fourth COVID-19 victim took place today under strict health and safety protocols at the Kotkavatta Cemetery. Director General of Health Services Dr. Anil Jasinga said that in comparison to the previous 3 COVID-19 victims, this case was unique in the context that he did not have a history of chronic illness but succumbed to complications from advanced pneumonia.
With 3 new COVID-19 patients reported yesterday, Sri Lanka's total number of active cases rose to 124 after 24 patients fully recovered and were discharged. A total of 250 suspected cases are currently receiving treatment in hospitals across the country. The funeral rites of the fourth COVID-19 victim took place this afternoon amidst heavy police security. The victim, a resident of Ratmalana, was cremated according to international quarantine regulations at the Kotikavatta Cemetery. The victim had reportedly travelled to the Velankani church in India and returned to the country on the 10th of March. By the 16th of March, the victim and his spouse had both fallen ill and had sought treatment at a private hospital in Mount Lavinia, where doctors had advised them to seek treatment at the Infectious Diseases Hospital due to suspected COVID-19 symptoms. The wife of the deceased, however, was then sent home upon testing negative for the virus on the 17th, but was brought to the hospital for testing and treatment later, and she remained in the hospital till the 30th of March. The husband, however, died after his condition had worsened upon reaching a critical pneumonia stage. The Health Ministry says that the 58-year-old who died at the time was not suffering from any other illnesses compared to the 3 previous deaths.
ඊයේ රාත්‍රී මිය ගිය අවුරුදු 58ක් වයස ඇති පුද්ගලයා ඔහු සහ භාර්යාව ඒ දෙදෙනාම ඉන්දියාවේ පිල්ග්‍රිමේජ් සඳහා ගොස් පැමිණ තිබෙනවා. පැමිණීමේදී මේ දෙදෙනාම ඉතාලියේ සිට පැමිණි ශ්‍රී ලාංකිකයින් පිරිසක් යම්කිසි දෙයකට කලබල කරන අවස්ථාවේ නිරෝධායන මධ්‍යස්ථානවලට යා නොහැකි බව පවසමින් අන්න ඒ පිරිසට මැදි වුණ බව ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා. ඉතින් මේ අනුව ඇතැම් විට මේ අය ඉන්දියාවෙන් මේ වෛරසය ගෙනාව වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් අර කියන ඉතාලි ශ්‍රී ලාංකිකයන්ගෙන් බෝ වුණා වන්නට පුළුවන්. මෙහිදී මෙම පුද්ගලයාට අමතරව ඔහුගේ භාර්යාවටත් මේ රෝගය වැළඳී ඇති බවට හඳුනාගෙන තියෙනවා. දැන් මියගිය 4 දෙනා ගත්තොත් මීට පෙර තිදෙනාම ප්‍රධාන ගණයේ රෝග වැඩි වශයෙන් තිබුණු තිදෙනෙක්. නමුත් මේ පුද්ගලයාට එසේ වෙනත් රෝග සැලකිය යුතු තිබුණ නැහැ. නමුත් මෙහිදී මොහු තා ඉක්මනින් නියුමෝනියා කරා යෑම නිසා තමයි මේ තත්ත්වය ඇති වෙලා තියෙන්නේ.
After a patient receiving treatment at the Colombo South Teaching Hospital was identified as COVID-19 positive, all patients who shared the same ward had been transferred to the Homagama Hospital. One patient who died following the transfer to the Homagama Hospital was confirmed to have died of other causes and was not COVID-19 positive. However, the patient's funeral rites were conducted using the same protocols as a COVID-19 infected victim as a precaution.
The disposal of remains of patients who fall victim to COVID-19 has become a topic in society in the past few days. The United Nations, in its guidelines on the subject, states that both burial and cremation can be performed. As questions continue to hover on the topic, Director General of Health Services Dr. Anil Jasinger gave clarity to the process adopted when disposing remains of victims of COVID-19 during a meeting with Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa yesterday.
මේ ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නේ මෙතෙන්දිම කතා කරා නම් අපිට ලේසි ප්‍රශ්නේ සාකච්ඡා කරන්න.
නෑ ඔක්කොම ඕනේ නෑනේ සර්.
මේ නිලධාරීන් ඉන්නවනේ ඉතින් මෙතෙන්දි කතා කරන්නේ ඒක. අගන්න දෙයක් නෑනේ අපිට.
දේහ ආදානය කිරීමේදී ඇතුළත තියෙන ප්‍රශ්න පිළිබඳව කලින් ගයිඩ්ලයින්ස් වගේ ඉෂු කරලා තිබුණා DG Health Services. ඒ ගයිඩ්ලයින්ස් අනුකූලව ක්‍රිමේෂන් and burial දෙකම කළ හැකි කියන එක ලෝක සෞඛ්‍ය සංවිධානයේ නිර්දේශවලට අනුකූලව සකස් කරලා තිබුණා. මෘතදේහය හරහා මේ වෛරසය පැතිරියයි කියන එක මිත් එකක්. ඒක නිකන් මිත්‍යාවක් විතරයි කියලා ඊටාම පැහැදිලිව සඳහන් කරනවා.
පළවෙනි රෝගියා උදාහරණයකට නිගිය ඒ විලාපේ රෝගියාගේ ඥාතීන් ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්දිමක් කරා ආංශිකූලය දෙන්න අවස්ථාවක් දෙන්න සබීජයේ තියෙන භයානකකම මිනිසුන්ට එක්ස්පෝස් වෙන්න තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නයක් නිසා මේ ආගමේ හැටියට බෞද්ධයින්ට ඕක පාංශිකූලයක්වත් නොදී ක්‍රියේෂන් එකට යනවා කියන එක ටිකක් දාගන්නම බැරි වැඩක්. ඒක අපේ ආගමේ හැටියට විශාල ප්‍රශ්නයක්. නමුත් කිසිම පාංශිකූලයක් හෝ මොකුත් දුන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක ජාති ප්‍රදේශයක් ලෝකෙ විතර දේශනයක් නිසා බුද්ධ ආගමේ ඕ වෙනත් ආගම් වල ආයේ ආගමික කටයුතු සහ ආගමික දේවල් එක මේක කරන්න අමාරු කියන එක
වෛද්‍යවරුන්ගේ උපදෙස් අනුව තමයි අපි කටයුතු කළ යුතුයි. බෞද්ධයන්ටත් මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ ඇති වෙලා තියෙනවා. මොකද අපි ඔක්කොටම ඉස්සෙල්ලා සමාජය ගැන හිතන්න ඕන.
අවාසනාවන්ත ලෙස මරණයක් ඇති වුණාම අපේ මූලික පරමාර්ථය තමයි එම මෘතදේහයේ ඊටාම ඉක්මරින් ඒ අවසන් කටයුතු කිරීම. ඔය ලෝක සෞඛ්‍ය සංවිධානය ඇතුළු ඒ නිර්දේශවල හැම එකෙම සඳහන් වෙනවා බොඩි එක අතපත ගන්න බෑ දෙන්නටයි බලන්න පුළුවන් ආදී වශයෙන් තියෙනවා. මේක 100%ක් මෙහෙවම කළ යුතුයි කියන එක නෙවෙයි. මේකට යම්කිසි ප්‍රතිපාදනයක් තියෙනවා. යම්කිසි රටක මේ තියෙන තත්ත්වයන් අනුව කටයුතු කරන්න. වෝටර් ටේබල් එක උඩ තියෙන එක ලංකාවේ ප්‍රශ්නයක්. ඊට අමතරව අපේ ගොඩක් තියෙන්නේ කබොක්. එතකොට අර පෝරස් බව තියෙනවා. ඒ නිසා ඒ හරහා තිරස්ව මේ විස බීජ යෑමේ හැකියාව තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම සාමාන්‍යයෙන් බරියල් එකේදී වැඩි පිරිසකට කොහොමුණත් කටයුතු කරන්න සිද්ධ වෙනවා. කියන්න පුළුවන් යම්කිසි තැනක මෙහෙම සුදුසු විදියට කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. නමුත් අපිට සමස්ත ලංකාවට ගැලපෙන ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එකක් හදන්න අමාරුයි. ඒ ගැන පරීක්ෂා කරන්න අමාරුයි. මේ ගමුවේ තත්ත්වය නෙවෙයි මඩකලපුවේ තියෙන. මඩකලපුවේ තත්ත්වය නෙවෙයි මාතර තියෙන්නේ. අපි මේ ප්‍රජාවත් එක්ක තමයි මේ කටයුත්ත කරන්න වෙන්නේ. ඒක සිංහල ප්‍රජාව වෙන්න පුළුවන්, මුස්ලිම් ප්‍රජාව වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එසේ කටයුතු කිරීමේදී අපි දන්නවා සංවේදී කාරණාවකදී අපිට මේ මෙහෙම එක සැරේට කපලා තනක් කියන්න අමාරුයි මේ මෙන්න මෙතනින් නවතින්න ඕනේ කියලා. ඒ මහත්තුරු ටිකක් අපිව හමු වුණා මේ දින කීපයකට ඉස්සෙල්ලා ගරු ඇමතුමියත් එක්ක. එතෙන්දී මේ ගමුවේ වෝටර් ලෙවල් එක වැඩි නිසා ඔවුන් කිව්වා මේ ඔවුන්ට ඔප්ෂන් එකක් හැටියට ඔවුන් යොදලා තිබුණා කියලා මේක මාලිගාවත්තට ගේන්න. ඉතින් එතෙන්දී අදහස් වෙනවා ඒ කියන්නේ අපි මේ මෘතදේහය දුර අරන් යනවා කියන එක. ඉතින් එවැනි දේත් අපිට කරන්න බෑ. එතකොට අපේ අරමුණ වෙන්නේ රෝගියා මොන රෝහලේද මිය යන්නේ ඒ රෝහලට අසලම තියෙන ආදානහාගාරය තුල ඒක ඒ අවසාන කටයුතු කිරීම.
කොරෝනා වෛරසය පැතිරීම වළක්වන්න සබන් යොදා දෑත් සෝදන්න.
182 countries have permitted burial of victims of COVID-19. Sri Lanka has decided otherwise. Yet, what is the scientific reason behind this? Dr. Anil Jasinger did explain to us at a media briefing earlier on the reasons behind the Sri Lankan government taking such a regulation and making it mandatory that victims of COVID-19 are not buried but cremated. I've invited to our studios to talk about this. What comes first? National security, health risks, the risks of the people, or whether we have to be emotional here. I've invited to our studios, like I said, former parliamentarian, President's Council, Faiza Mustafa. Good evening, this is a very sensitive issue. We've been talking about this. What is your view here? Should we look at this in a very emotional, personally, in a manner that affects all of us in such a way, because this is a sensitive issue of faith, or should we look at it in the interest of the nation first?
Firstly, with your permission, can I thank the three forces and the police and our health service for doing a wonderful job in saving us all from the COVID-19 virus. Saying so, the fight against COVID-19 virus, it is paramount, because this virus doesn't have a race, religion, and we all have to unite and fight this. And as the Muslim community, they had certain concerns, but they will adhere to the law of the land. If the law of the land said only cremation, they will adhere to it. But this situation arose, firstly, there was a regulation or a guideline which said that you can only cremate. Then there were representations by the Muslim community, and they permitted burial or cremation. Then when the Nigambo, when the death of that Muslim gentleman occurred, the law permitted cremation or burial. But then a cremation took place. Then suddenly the next day, it was amended to only cremation. So the issue here is the fight against the virus, we have to unite together. But this issue is very sensitive to the Muslim community. There are 180 countries following these guidelines. So therefore, the appeal we are making, it's an appeal that look at it scientifically. We should not look at it politically. We should not look at it from an ethnic point of view. But this is a technical thing, whether experts can go into it, and if there is no threat, permit the Muslim community to bury, because 180 countries are doing so. Sri Lanka is only the exception. Sri Lanka may be right, the 180 countries may be right, but we should not debate on other issues. It is a technical matter. Even the GMOA had written to Anil Jayasinghe today, saying that in terms of the Quarantine Act, in terms of the WHO guidelines, burial or cremation is permitted, therefore to appoint an expert committee to look at it. So I think it's very fair that this issue, there are concerns, there are feelings are high, you get social media looking at it from this is not an ethnic issue. This is a social issue. This is a religious issue from the Muslim point of view, because our faith requires the body be buried. But saying so, if there is the slightest threat of the virus spreading, I can tell you with responsibility, our community does not want it, and we will see as community leaders that we will be first, even if it is permitted, we will refrain from doing so.
But have you all taken measures to create awareness among your community, the people of Islamic faith, in order to ensure that they understand that if this is a risk to the rest of the country, that such regulations need to be taken?
It is unfortunately until the 105th or 106th victim, the race or religion of the victim did not play a role. But as you know, today the various concerns have been raised, like all faiths. The mosque, the church and the temple, it's the best place to create awareness. So the Jamaat Ulama, Muslim clergy, has informed the Muslims to create awareness that if you have any symptoms, to report. Certain quarters were saying that because you can't bury, the Muslim community might refrain from. That is not so, because the community leaders, have very strictly instructed that there is a social responsibility to inform that if anybody has symptoms. But there's another issue. Today, if you look at the media, if you have symptoms, there's a social stigma, and the way the media has portrayed it, if you have symptoms, you will be put in isolation. From there, if you're going to die, you'll be cremated. But you have to know, today I watched it on TV, about 200,000 have recovered from this virus. The media has to spread these messages saying that if you have the virus, there is a great possibility of you recovering. But today there is a fear psychosis that if you get this virus, the chances of you dying is great, and most probably you end up dead. So therefore people will not want to come and report, because they fear, if I get this virus, I might as well die at home. I will be put into isolation. From there, if I die, I have no access to my family. But I think there's a great social responsibility on all of us to create awareness that only 5% the mortality rate, and therefore that there's a great chance of you recovering. Therefore, please report the symptoms, and that the medical system will take care of you.
This virus sees no race, color or stature. However, all forces, security forces, health authorities, essential workers in Sri Lanka, just as globally, are ensuring every measure that they take day and night to ensure that the social fabric, the country's security in terms of public health is ensured. What is your appeal to not just people of the Islamic faith, but to the entire country as a politician, as a socially responsible person, especially when it comes to quarantine, isolation, be it self-isolation, to ensure that we do not be the reason why we contaminate this process?
No, I think greater awareness has to be at all levels, and I think it is being done, but it has to be done more effectively. And I think the places of worship, religious leaders could also be used, social workers should be used, and also in certain areas there is community living, and there's a greater possibility of this virus spreading. So in those areas, the message has to go very clearly that social distancing has to be followed. Right. So I think this is not, you cannot point fingers at any community or any race. It is to all that we have to create an awareness that you have to take precautions for yourself, and also if there are symptoms that you have to report it. I mean, also there is a fear psychosis which has been created, as I mentioned earlier.
That's
we need to transform that to say that if you have these symptoms, there is a greater possibility of you being cured. So if that message goes, I think there will be greater response to this.
Right. Thank you very much for your time here, Mr. Mustafa. Well, we'll take a short commercial break before we return with more news on First at 9. Do stay with us.
අවශ්‍යයි ඔබේ මුළු පවුලම 100% දක්වා විෂ බීජ වලින් ආරක්ෂා කර දෙයි.
Now, as more and more COVID-19 cases come to light in urban areas around the country, the tracking of their movements and the people they have been in contact with has been a mammoth task, which could be the key to curtailing of community transmission in Sri Lanka. The police and health authorities have taken steps to identify such vulnerable people and transport them to quarantine centres for isolation as well as observation.
The government continues to implement strict quarantine measures in localities where COVID-19 patients have been detected. A total of 314 residents who had contact with the MARADANA COVID-19 victim have been transported to the PUNANI quarantine centre last night.
මේ දක්වා කොළඹ නගර සභාව ආශ්‍රිතව වාර්තා වූ රෝගීන් 12 දෙනාගෙන් එක් රෝගියෙක් තමයි මේ අවාසනාවන්ත සිද්ධියට මුහුණ පෑවේ මිය ගියේ. ඒ අයගේ පවුලේ ඉතුරු 4 දෙනෙක්ව අපි පසුදිනම පරීක්ෂණ සඳහා යොමු කරා. ඒ අය අතරිනුත් 2 දෙනෙක් මේ වෙන විට කොවිඩ් රෝගයෙන් පෙළෙන බවට තහවුරු වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් ඉතුරු අය ගැනත් අපිට තාම විශ්වාසයක් නැහැ. තවදුරටත් ඒ අය පරීක්ෂණ මට්ටමේ සහ ප්‍රතිකාර ලැබමින් ඉන්නවා. ඒ වගේම ඒ රෝගියාගේ බිරිඳ ඒ අය සමග හිටිය ඇයව පුත්තලම නිරෝධායන මධ්‍යස්ථානයක් කරා මේ වෙනකොට යොමු කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒ අතරින් අපි ඒ දිනම හවස් භාගයේ අපි මේ මුළු ප්‍රදේශයේම හුදකලා කරලා පොලිසියේ ආරක්ෂාව යටතේ දැනට මේ ප්‍රදේශය කිසිම කෙනෙකුට ඇතුල් වීමට සහ ඒ ප්‍රදේශයෙන් පිටවීමට තහනම් ප්‍රදේශයක් බවට පත් කරන්න තීරණයකට ආවා. ඉතින් ඒ සඳහා අපිට මරදාන පොලිසියෙන් විශාල සහයෝගයක් ලැබෙනවා. ඒ වගේම ඊයේ දිනේ අපි රාත්‍රී 10:30 වන විට අවසාන කණ්ඩායම පිටත් කර යවුවා. ඒ අය අතරින් අපි මේ නිරෝධායනයට ලක් කරපු අය අතරින් අධිඅවදානම් පිරිසක් අපි හඳුනාගෙන ඒ පිරිසේ 302ක කණ්ඩායමක් පුනානි කඳවුර වෙත යැවීමට තීරණය කරලා ඒ අයව මේ වන විට ඒ නිරෝධායනය සඳහා ඒ පුනානි කඳවුරට යොමු කරලා තියෙනවා. ඉතුරු අය තවදුරටත් එම ස්ථානයේම අපගේ අධීක්ෂණය යටතේ පවතිනවා.
Meanwhile, a total of 288 persons who arrived in the country from abroad and completed the mandatory 14-day quarantine returned to their homes today. They were quarantined at the Periyakadu Centre in Vavaniya, the Diyatalava Army Camp facility and at the Bogota Centre.
ඊයේ වෙනකොට ගියපු සංඛ්‍යාවයි අද දිනේ තවත් 288 දෙනෙක් නිරෝධායනය නිම වී යාමට නියමිතයි. ඒ අනුව 2598 දෙනෙක් අද වෙනකොට නික්ම යාමට නියමිත වෙනවා සම්පූර්ණ ගියපු කට්ටියත් එක්ක. ඒත් එක්කම අලුත්ම අභියෝගය පෙරේදා බේරුවල 246 දෙනෙකු නැවත වතාවක් පිටරටින් ආපු කට්ටිය මේ ලංකාව තුල යන ව්‍යාප්තිය වැළැක්වීම වෙනුවෙන්ම අතිගරු ජනාධිපතිතුමා ගරු අග්‍රාමාත්‍යතුමාගේ උපදෙස් අනුව අපි මේ ආකාරයෙන් රට තුල හිටිය අයවලුන්ගෙන් නිරෝධයන් ලක් කිරීමට පටන් ගත්තා. ඒ 242කට අමතරව තවත් 40 දෙනෙකු මීගමුවෙන් අපි යවනු ලැබුවා. පෙරේදා සවස මේ මරදානේ තට්ටුමහල් නිවාසවල ජීවත් වූ පිරිස අතරින් එක් පුද්ගලයෙක් මිය යාමත් එක්ක ඒ පුද්ගලයා අපිට තේරුණා 314 දෙනෙකු පමණ මේ ආකාරයට ඔහු ඇසුරු කරලා තියෙනවා. මේ 314 දෙනා ඊයේ රාත්‍රියේදී පුනානි නිරෝධාන මධ්‍යස්ථාන වෙත රැගෙන යනු ලැබුවා. අද උදෑසන ඔවුන් එම නිරෝධාන මධ්‍යස්ථානයට පැමිණලා තිබෙනවා. 500කට අධික සංඛ්‍යාවක් ශ්‍රී ලංකාව තුල හමු ආසාදිතයන් හින්දම මේ ආකාරයේ නිරෝධාන මධ්‍යස්ථානයට පුනානි රැගෙන ගියා.
As Akurana in Kandy continues to be kept under complete isolation following the detection of several COVID-19 cases in the area, health officials continue to monitor and test residents for any new cases. This includes the visiting of homes in the vicinity where identified cases were detected by public health inspectors and nursing staff. Test samples have been taken from all family members in the households, which will be sent for testing at the Kandy General Hospital. Meanwhile, following the detection of a COVID-19 case in the area of PANNILA in Beruala, a similar testing campaign was carried out at the Kochimale Mosque by health officials. The testing campaign, however, came under public protest by the people in the area. In the meantime, the UPPUVELI police detected 8 foreign tourists staying at 3 tourist hotels in Trincomalee who were not following self-quarantine protocols. The police have placed them under strict self-quarantine at their lodgings for 14 days. The police have also stated that legal action is to be taken against the hotel management for failing to implement quarantine procedures for their guests. Meanwhile, several public locations around the country were subjected to disinfection. Residents of MUTHUPANTHIYA village in Arachikatwa have resorted to disinfecting all vehicles and individuals entering their area.
At a time when people should act in a responsible manner and follow guidelines under the quarantine law due to the ongoing coronavirus outbreak in the country, police strictly warn the public that they will not hesitate to use their powers against violators of the curfew and against those disregarding quarantine law.
Police have opened fire on a speeding car which had failed to heed orders to stop at a roadblock near the Modra New Bridge yesterday at around 10:20 p.m. Police officers at the previous roadblock at the Egoda Uyana Road in Moratuwa had signalled the car heading towards Panadura to stop. However, it had sped up disregarding the orders. The officer on duty had subsequently informed police officers stationed at the next checkpoint near the Modra New Bridge about the speeding car. As the car once again had failed to heed orders to stop, police officers at the bridge had opened fire. Following this, the car had also continued to speed past the police roadblock in Panadura South, ignoring instructions to halt. Later, the vehicle in question had been discovered parked at the Panadura Base Hospital. 3 passengers out of the 4 inside the car had sustained injuries, and one of them was transferred to the National Hospital in Colombo for further treatment. Relatives of the injured and a woman who claimed to be the girlfriend of the suspect transferred to the Colombo National Hospital were also present at the hospital. The police have stated that the vehicle involved in the series of incidents was handed over to them by the suspect's girlfriend. Investigations have revealed that she was employed at a pharmacy and had rented the vehicle in question from an individual in the Egoda Uyana area to transport pharmaceuticals. The driver of the car and the injured passengers have been placed under arrest and are currently receiving treatment under police security. The suspects who sustained injuries from the police gunfire are aged 18, 20 and 22. They are residents of Panadura and Bathramulla. Furthermore, the police headquarters revealed that 2 out of the 3 injured suspects have been involved in drug racketeering. One of the suspects with a history of drug racketeering had been taken into police custody in November 2018 for possession of heroin by the Panadura South Police. The second suspect with the drug racketeering history had committed several other offences in the past. They include escaping prison in 2017, heroin racketeering in 2018, assault in 2018, and arrest for heroin possession in 2019. The third injured suspect was arrested by Egodawina Police yesterday, along with the other 2, and all of them are being investigated to ascertain whether they were transporting drugs at the time. In the meantime, officers from the Police Criminal Records Division arrived at the location and inspected the vehicle as well as the scene of the shooting this morning.
මෙම සැකකරුවන් දෙදෙනෙකු කුඩු හෝ මද්‍රව්‍ය පානය කර ඇති බවට හෙළි වී තිබෙනවා. සැකකරුවන් අද දින අධිකරණය ඉදිරිපත් කර රක්ෂිත බන්ධනාගාර ගත කිරීමට කටයුතු කරන තිබෙනවා. සැකකරුවන්ට එරෙහිව මනුෂ්‍ය ඝාතනයට තැත් කිරීම සහ ඇඳිරි නීති උල්ලංඝනය කිරීම යන චෝදනා යොමු කර තිබෙනවා. ඇඳිරි නීතියට පටහැනිව යම් අය කටයුතු කරනවා නම් ඔවුන්ට එරෙහිව අවශ්‍ය බලය පාවිච්චි කිරීමට ශ්‍රී ලංකා පොලිසිය පසුබට වන්නේ නැහැ. විශේෂයෙන්ම දැනට අපිට වාර්තා වෙලා තියෙනවා කොළඹ නගරයේ ඒ වගේම තදාසන්න ප්‍රදේශවල මහල් නිවාස ආශ්‍රිතව මේ ආකාරයටම සවස් කාලේ රාත්‍රී කාලේ යම් යම් කණ්ඩායම් සැරිසරන බවට යම් පිරිස් ගැවසෙනවා නම් නිරෝධායන රීතීන් වලට පටහැනිව ඒ වගේම යම් පවුල් වල පිරිස් එකතු වී කටයුතු කරනවා නම් ඔවුන්ට එරෙහිවත් ඉතා දැඩිව මේ නීතින් ක්‍රියාත්මක කිරීමට පසුබට වන්නේ නැහැ.
As things stand, any movement during curfew hours is completely prohibited except for essential services. Operations are currently underway to arrest people violating the curfew, which was imposed to curb the spread of the coronavirus COVID-19 in the country. The police headquarters has stated that 11,019 people have been arrested and 2,727 vehicles taken into custody so far for various curfew violations. The island-wide curfew also restricts inter-district travel except for essential services. With the exception of the 6 districts identified as COVID-19 high-risk zones, the curfew will be lifted in the rest of the country at 6 a.m. on Monday the 6th of April. The curfew, however, will be brought into effect once more at 2 p.m. on the same day. As for the districts of Colombo, Gampa, Kalutara, Puttalam, Kandy and Jaffna, which are high-risk zones, the curfew will be in effect until further notice.
සතුන්ට ප්‍රතිකාර කිරීම පිළිබඳව ගැටලු සහගත තත්ත්වයක් නිර්මාණය වී ඇති බව ඒ නිසා පශු වෛද්‍යවරුන්ට ඔවුන්ගේ හැඳුනුම්පත භාවිතා කරමින් ගමන් කිරීමේ හැකියාවක් තියෙනවා. දෙසේ භාවිතා කළ හැක්කේ යම් ප්‍රතිකාරයක් සඳහා යෑමේ අවස්ථාවේදී පමණයි. විශේෂයෙන්ම මහජනතාව නිරන්තරයෙන් දැනුම් දී තිබෙනවා කෘෂිකාර්මික කටයුතු වල යෙදෙන අවස්ථාවලදී ඒ සඳහා භාවිතා වන යන්ත්‍ර සූත්‍ර විශේෂයෙන්ම ට්‍රැක්ටර් වැනි වාහන ආපදා තත්ත්වයන්ට කාර්මික දෝෂවලට පත්වන බව එම නිසා එම ප්‍රදේශයට අදාළව එවැනි යන්ත්‍ර අලුත් වැඩියා කරන ස්ථාන සඳහා යම් සහනදායි මට්ටමකින් ඇඳිරි නීති සීමාවන් ලිහිල් කරමින් කටයුතු කිරීමට තීරණය කර තිබෙනවා.
And the central bank reappeals to financial institutions to pass on benefits to the people. We'll talk about this after the break. The central bank urges all private banks and financial institutions to get on board the government's financial relief efforts and to implement the measures set out by the banks targeting business and public. Central Bank Governor Professor W.D. Lakshman said that the measures listed out in the bank's directive can only be implemented by private banks and financial institutions at their discretion in the time of national need.
In a media communique today, Central Bank Governor Professor W.D. Lakshman has appealed to all banks and financial institutions to take steps to immediately implement the financial relief measures set out by the bank. The governor added that cooperation in this regard can only be at the discretion of the banks, as no legal action can be taken against banks disregarding such directives. These include the relief for business and personal loans, especially for small and medium enterprises, and interest rate reductions, moratoriums on repayments, and the provision of bank loans to the general public through a reduction in the management reserve rates. He added that the central bank, along with other government authorities, are closely monitoring the economy and financial systems. Meanwhile, with the government having commenced paying pensions yesterday and today, pensioners are permitted to travel in order to withdraw pensions and to purchase medication. The government also ordered all private pharmacies to open yesterday and today to cater to the needs of the country's senior citizens, leading to large crowds and queues outside pharmacies. With pensions previously paid through the country's postal services, this time around the government took steps to deliver some pensions to pensioners' homes, negating the need for unnecessary travel. However, travel to the post office for withdrawal of pensions will only be necessary if they have not been received by the 4th of April. Authorities had also made arrangements for the transport of pensioners to banks throughout the country for this purpose. The Prime Minister's office today announced that pensioners who couldn't receive their payments yesterday and today will be able to do so on Monday the 6th of April. Meanwhile, medication for patients who attend the monthly clinic at the Kapetipola Primary Medical Care Unit had a 2-month supply of medication home delivered. A private manufacturing company, Negombo, has pitched in to build ICU hospital beds in order to cater to an urgent need for such critical medical equipment. Meanwhile, a meeting was held between Health Minister Pavitra Vanyarachi, public health inspectors and 20 health sector unions where issues faced by the PHIs were discussed. PHI representatives informed the Health Minister that the unions have decided to withdraw from all COVID-19 operations if a list of demands were not met by the 4th of April. Given this situation, the Health Minister has agreed to provide all requirements to avoid such a situation.
The World Bank has approved the $128.6 million Sri Lanka COVID-19 Emergency Response and Health Systems Readiness Project to help the country prevent, detect and respond to the COVID-19 pandemic and strengthen the island nation's public health preparedness. The new fast-track package is set to benefit the entire Sri Lankan population and prioritize stopping or slowing the spread of the virus.
The support from the World Bank's $128.6 million Sri Lanka COVID-19 Emergency Response and Health Systems Preparedness Project will scale up emergency response mechanisms, strengthening the capacity of laboratories and hospitals, treat patients, train medical staff, and raise public awareness about hand washing, hygiene and social distancing. World Bank Country Director for Sri Lanka, Ida P. Swarai Ridiho, said that the World Bank is working closely with the government of Sri Lanka to contain the spread of COVID-19 and prepare the country for potential future disease emergencies. He added, quote, Sri Lanka has already taken preventive measures to contain this rapidly evolving pandemic and protect its people. Our support will complement these efforts and help reduce future risks, unquote. The project includes a $35 million loan from the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development through the World Bank Group's COVID-19 Fast Track Facility and a $93.6 million credit from the International Development Association, the World Bank's concessional credit window for developing countries. In a media communique, the World Bank said that the Ministry of Health and Indigenous Medical Services will implement the project with support from United Nations agencies and other stakeholders engaged in emergency response, prevention and readiness. In addition, it said that Sri Lanka's first biosafety level 3 laboratory will be developed at the National Medical Research Institute.
In the face of the country's public health pandemic, AdaDerana has come forward with its newest project to provide assistance to temples, churches and other religious centers. Dialogue Relief Services along with the Lions Club 306C1 have also pledged their contributions to our humanitarian effort. You could also provide your contributions by calling us on 077 070 1010 or 0772 466 488. And that's all for tonight. Thanks for watching. Good night.